Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Fan and the Critic. I am joined by my co host, as always, Paolo. And today we are actually joined by a special guest, Kyle from the movie podcast, Kyle and Dave versus the Machine, in our ongoing series of kind of interviewing other Canadian movie podcasters. So, Kyle, thank you very much for joining us here today.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, I think.
And for our listeners that haven't heard from you guys, do you want to give us maybe just a quick rundown of the type of podcast you guys run, how you got into it, and where they can find you?
Yeah, I would love to. I have run a few different podcasts in my time, and I've always wanted to have a movie podcast, mostly because I'm a white male over 30. So I feel like I should have a movie podcast. And a good friend of mine, Dave Yun, and I always liked to make fun of each other because while we do share some similar tastes, there are certain things where we just split very, very vehemently opposed and what our likes and dislikes are. And I thought that would make a good outlook for a show. Uh, but the extra wrinkle that we decided to do is we created this fiction for ourselves. So within the fiction of the podcast, I have accidentally tinkered too much and created a machine that has become sentient. And in order to prevent it from initiating an apocalyptic event in the world, we must review movies from a certain year. So every season, we do a different year in film. So in our first year, we did the year 1999. So we just talked about movies from the year 1999. In our second year, we bounced all the way back to 1971. So we talked about a lot of early 70s films. 1982 was last season, and we're currently just over halfway through our season on the year 2018. So it's our most recent season from doing like a 5-year retrospective. And yeah, we go through kind of our feelings on the movie, our histories with it, what we kind of expect, and then by the end of it, we do come up with like, does this still hold up, and is it still culturally relevant? That's basically our show in a nutshell, and it's available pretty much anywhere you can get podcasts from. All the big ones have it, so Apple, Spotify, Google, and elsewhere. So that is what Kyle and Dave versus the Machine is all about.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought that was a fun premise, and especially when you guys started doing 2018, because
Mhm.
it's not like looking at movies that are way in the past. It's like I think, for example, like Into the Spider-Verse was one of those, and then Across the
Correct.
Spider-Verse just came out. So like some of these are still going, and it's like nice
Actually,
little
it's
look back.
really bizarre. I mean, this is partly to do with like pandemic reasons, but it is very interesting how many films we're talking about where their sequels are coming out this year. So you'll see some upcoming ones like uh, Aquaman and Mission Impossible and other stuff like that, where the sequels are finally coming out here this year, and we're talking about them from 5 years ago.
Awesome. So, and then another thing that we always do for new guests to the show to introduce them to the audience is we used to in the past ask to pick a movie and a character to introduce you as a person. We're switching that up this time and asked you to pick three movie characters that represent you as a person. What did you
Mhm.
come up with?
So I'm so glad you gave this to me beforehand, or else I would have been like really trying to pull deep in the moment. Now, I will say I'm somewhat cheating here because one of these is a TV character, but this is what I came up with. So I went with three different levels. I went with what character do I look like, what character do I sound like, and then finally what character do I feel like my personality is drawn from. So who I look like is Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's the Chief. That's the TV show. I
Oh,
would
that's a good
say,
one.
yeah. uh, as far as vocally goes, I do tend to sound a lot like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. And then finally, kind of my, spiritually, personality-wise, I'm Fozzie Bear from the Muppets.
Nice. That is quite the range of characters, but
Is there any like particular, I mean, aside from the obvious in
Mhm.
terms of Fozzie Bear, is there any like other explanation that you want to give? It's totally fine if the answer is no as well.
No, I the thing that I love about Fozzie Bear is that he keeps trying, even though he fails all the time. But secondarily to that, he loves telling bad jokes. And that is also what I like to do in real life too. The more awkward it is, the better. I don't have two critics sitting up in like the stands making fun of me at the same time, which is nice, but I'm not afraid to make a dumb pun if I find one.
Awesome.
We embrace the bad jokes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the topic of conversation for today, what we thought we would do is we wanted to argue around I think what we're calling either the best sidekick or the best supporting character in cinema is.
Right.
So we have a bracket. We, as a group, we've picked 32 characters that kind of fit into this category. I have 4 kind of subcategories of that just because there's different types of supporting characters. We are going to kind of battle it out and argue what our opinions are. But before we went into that, I just kind of wanted to put you guys both in the spot and say, what is your criteria for what makes a good supporting character? Like, are you just coming at this from the perspective of these are the characters that added the most of anything to this movie, or does it need to fit into a certain type of bucket for you?
Yeah, I think a great supporting character is first off like memorable. Like you remember them being in the movie. They aid the protagonist or our hero along the way. And I do like the way that you have like separated them out into these 4 main categories because I think that there are different flavors of supporting character out there. I think the best supporting characters also have kind of like their own mini arcs throughout the movie itself, whether it's in tandem with our main hero. But I think the biggest one is like would this movie be worse without this character in it? I think that's kind of the biggest hallmark of what a great supporting character is.
How about you, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, as I usually am on our podcast, I'm probably going to come at this from just all over the place, a few different perspectives. There's some characters that I'm kind of attached to in terms of like preference. There's some that I am going to like look at it in terms of what they add to the movie, and so it's a few like the range is going to be pretty wide. I was also thinking of I don't know if you remember a scene from Ocean's 11. It's a very specific scene, but Matt Damon, no, not Matt Damon, is he's trying to as part of the heist, he was going to like impersonate someone to break into the casino, and Brad Pitt is like coaching him on how to be like a good imposter, and you have to be friendly but not too overbearing. You have to be charming but not too memorable, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like how I'm looking at it, especially for some of the characters the side characters that I that don't resonate too much with me, or some that I'm less familiar with. So yeah, it's going to be a mixed bag for me.
Yeah, for me, as usual, I'm going to be coming at this from a bit of a stickler perspective. For me, like a movie is about there's a central story that's trying to be told, and for me a good supporting character is one that is helping drive that story. So maybe a little bit contradictory to you, Kyle, of saying like these people go through mini arcs. I'm not the hugest fan of some of these bigger universes where there's so many characters and so many different character arcs that they're trying to fit into one movie. Like I love a character as like a storytelling device, that it's, what's the main story and how is this supporting character helping the main character, or how are they helping tell that story? Like they don't need to be directly supporting their character arc in opposition to them. They can also help the character get through whatever character arc the story is trying to tell, but it's really like, what does this individual contribute to what the main story that's trying to be told is? So it'll be interesting to see how some of those perspectives clash as we go through this.
Carson
There's
kind
going to
of
be a
looks at
fist
things.
fight by the end of this.
Carson kind of looks at things like the machine from your podcast.
Mm.
Yes, I sound like the machine too a little bit, maybe. All right, let's jump into it. So, as I mentioned before, we have kind of 4 subgroups of types of supporting characters. We have your action sidekicks, your comedic relief, your BFFs, and then another bucket which is just kind of an other bucket which has some mentors or some nemesis. And so it's just we kind of grouped some of the other characters that we couldn't fit into there. So I'm going to start with the action sidekick bucket first. And the way we're going to go through this is we have 8 characters, and we're going to tackle 4 at a time to drill this down to 2. Take those 2, battle it off, and have 1 action sidekick. And we're going to do that for each of the 4 buckets, and then we're going to have 4, and we're just going to kind of vote those through at the end. So to start with the action sidekick, the first bucket that we have is Hit Girl from the movie Kick-Ass, John Watson from the Sherlock Holmes movies. I'm going to specifically call this the Jude Law John Watson.
I was going to ask.
Chewbacca from all of the Star Wars movies, and Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park. So I will leave that off there. Maybe some initial impressions from you guys of things that, definitely not, or things that you're definitely going to argue for here.
I'm going to jump in really quick here. As much as I love me some Ian Malcolm, oh geez, I didn't even say his name right. Ian Malcolm. I think just from an iconic standpoint, I think Chewbacca takes this one. Just because, I mean, Hit Girl was a lot of fun in Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass 2, not so much. And John Watson, actually, he was a pretty good character. I think Jude Law did a really good John Watson. Not that I've seen any other movie representations of John Watson, but yeah, just in terms of like being the penultimate loyal sidekick over how many years and how many movies, and just a big fluffy walking carpet. I think Chewbacca is an easy one for him.
I'm probably going to ultimately agree with you, but how I went through this, I kind of went through it sequentially. Hit Girl is still kind of one of the main things I think about from Kick-Ass. I still remember being super impressed with the first one. The second one I watched once and probably will never watch ever again. But like the first one, I still remember her so much from there, just because it was so, I don't know, like shocking to see just a young girl go around and beat people up. I went to university and got an English degree like an idiot, but I have an English degree, and I actually read quite a bit of Sherlock Holmes. It's the original tales and stories are one of my favorite things, and I'm a bit of a stickler here. It's not that I don't like the Robert Downey Jr. films, but fundamentally I just don't agree with making Sherlock Holmes an action star. That's not really what he is. So I'm kind of disqualifying John Watson right from the get-go. Not that Jude Law doesn't do a good job. It's just like fundamentally disagree with how those films handle him, even though he's supposed to be coming from a military background. That is what is true to his character. Chewbacca, iconic. Everyone tries to do like the growl roar thing to this day, which is fun. And Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies of all time, but like, and I love me Jeff Goldblum a whole lot. But if we're looking at action sidekick specifically, if we're staying true to this category, I have to go Chewbacca too.
I was hoping this category wouldn't go in this direction because I don't want to vote for Chewbacca. I was actually really going to try to push the John Watson argument, but it sounds like Kyle, I'm not going to be able to convince you on that one.
No.
I'm kind of the opposite with Sherlock Holmes. I understand that what they did in those movies is nothing like what the character has ever been. And obviously, even when you watch the TV show with Benedict Cumberbatch, you see kind of like the better version of that. But I like the John Watson and Sherlock that they had for those movies, even if it's not Sherlock. I just like them as their own characters as what they did. I like, I can't remember the director's name, Guy Ritchie. I like all of his movies and his style. And so even though that's kind of... I usually don't like turning people into action characters when they don't deserve to be, but I really wanted to fight for John Watson. I will reluctantly get on board with Chewbacca, but I'm not super stoked about it.
They Star Trekked it. They Star Trekked Sherlock Holmes for that remake. But yay, celebrate for Chewbacca.
Okay. And now let's see who he'll be going against in the Action Sidekick semifinal. So our second bracket for Action Sidekick is Zeus Carver from, I believe, Die Hard 3, 2 or 3? 3. Gunn from, is it Tampopo? I can't remember if I'm pronouncing that right. Doc Holliday from should have written the movie names down. This is one of your favorite movies.
Tombstone.
Tombstone and Inigo Montoya from Princess Bride. I will say right off the bat here, I am not super passionate about any of these characters. I will lean in a certain way, but I will leave it to you guys to maybe convince me otherwise.
Well, I actually do like all of these movies. I will say what pushes it over the edge here for me is that The Princess Bride happens to be like one of my favorite films of all time. So Inigo Montoya is probably going to be top of my list. But just to go through these here again, Tampopo, if no one out there has seen it, really worth a watch. It is such a fun movie. And will make you very hungry for ramen specifically, and it's a great film to go and watch. Dog Holiday is iconic, and of all of the Die Hard sequels, 3 is the best, like hands down, and is like a good movie in its own right. Even if it was not a sequel, I think it's a good movie. So my vote personally would be Inigo Montoya with Zeus coming up a very, very close second.
This one's tough for me. Zeus and Doc Holliday are probably neck and neck for me. I regrettably have not seen Tampopo, so I can't speak on it. And we're gonna differ. I mean, Princess Bride, I get why everyone loves it. It's never really resonated with me. And I had only watched it for the first time like maybe 5 years ago, after just hearing all these like all the references about it, and like You Killed My Father, Prepare to Die, all that stuff. Like I've heard every single reference of Princess Bride before I actually watched the movie. So Inigo Montoya is like, I get that he's probably he's a legendary character, but I think just my own love for Die Hard and Tombstone especially. Kyle, I don't know if you know, but for as long as I've known Carson, I've been trying to get him to watch Tombstone.
Oh, you have not seen Tombstone?
And this was my chance of doing episode prep for this. I should have, and I still did not watch it. No.
As a complete digression, have you seen the Val Kilmer documentary?
I did, and I have conflicting feelings on that documentary, because on one hand it's a really interesting look, but you can also tell that it's very one-sided.
Yeah.
And there's sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say there's like a beautiful moment where he gets to experience people watching that movie, which is kind of fun to see the behind the scenes of that.
Yeah, there's definitely some heartwarming moments of that documentary. There's a few moments where, as I was saying, like it kind of feels a bit one-sided, because he's talking about his movies, and then he's like, oh, at some point here my wife got upset with me not being around. It's like, well, there's probably some part of that you deserved, but like,
I mean, yeah, he really brushes some of his own actions under the rug, which is interesting to see.
But not to take away from the character of Doc Holliday. And now that we've talked about it a little bit more, I think I'm just going to fully throw my head in for Doc Holliday. Just because, I mean, it kind of goes against this might work against me and how we talked in the beginning about how side characters shouldn't really be like overbearing on the overall movie. I'm disregarding that completely. I think even though I feel like he stole the show in Tombstone. The charisma and just the character of how he played Doc Holliday, I think he wins this one.
I think if I had watched the movie, I'd probably agree with you, but unfortunately it's hard for me to vote for a character I haven't watched. I am with you that I do not like Princess Bride, even though I usually like a lot of that type of humor, and I'm surprised I don't like it, so I'm kind of against Inigo Montoya. I can throw my hat behind Zeus Carver. And I think that would be you guys' number 2. So I would suggest that one, unless there's any unless you want to make an argument here, Paolo. If you can tell me about this character and convince me in like 10 seconds, maybe.
I will. Okay, I will relent if you promise to watch Tombstone for the first time in the next month.
I can commit to that. It's about time.
Okay. We got
All
the
right.
personal stuff out of the way on this one. And I'm sorry for ambushing you, Kyle, on Princess Bride.
I mean, it's okay to be wrong. That's fine.
We can make a whole other episode out of this one.
All right, so let's finish off the action sidekick bracket. Zeus Carver versus Chewbacca. I think you guys were a little bit more passionate about Chewbacca than your Zeus Carver arguments. Are you guys gonna try to go Zeus, or are you gonna push for Chewbacca?
No, I mean, at a certain point, I don't know. I'm probably going to go contradict myself later on in this episode, but for now, I'm going to say like being iconic does have to go pretty far for you. So I would have to maybe put Chewbacca. I bet you anything. If you said the name Zeus Carver to most people, they'd be like, "What?" It's like the Samuel L. Jackson from Die Hard 3. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I like him a lot."
The one thing I will give Zeus over Chewbacca is that he's obviously a lot more entertaining to watch. Like just him and Bruce Willis going back and forth throughout that movie. It's a lot more enjoyable than seeing Chewbacca do what he does. I mean, granted,
Sure.
Chewbacca's not given a lot to do.
You can actually understand what he's saying.
And that, yeah. And I mean, the joke about everyone understanding Chewbacca, regardless of what's going on or who they are, is it kind of it's old after the 15th Star Wars movie. But I mean, I think everyone knows this now, but just in case, do you know how Die Hard 3 started, like originally as a script? I do not know that.
It was supposed to be, like the fourth or fifth. Oh my God, the one with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. Lethal Weapon. It was a Lethal Weapon movie that didn't get made, and so they just rewrote it to be a Die Hard sequel instead. Yeah.
I had no idea. That's actually pretty.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense.
It does. Once you know that, it's like, oh, he's just being Danny Glover. That's what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I would love to not vote for Chewbacca. I think I think Chewbacca is a character in a good movie. Like everyone loves the original Star Wars movies. As much as I like to shit on them, like they're fantastic movies. Chewbacca is more of like an emotional piece to the movie. It's like, oh, when he does the sad growl, then it's like, oh, you feel sorry for him, and he's trying to help like carry a bit of the mood, but he's not really a character. That said, I have a hard time voting Zeus Carver over him, so I might reluctantly go ahead with Chewbacca, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I was doing my best to convince myself otherwise, but I think Chewbacca is gonna cakewalk. If it was Doc Holliday, honestly, against Chewbacca, I would 100% pick Doc Holliday.
You would shoot Chewbacca?
Yeah, I would shoot him, and I'd shoot him again.
All right.
But yeah,
Are we going Chewbacca then? All right.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
That is our first bracket. Next bracket is going to be our comedic relief. There's a lot of animated characters here. Our first of 4 characters, one of these is kind of cheating, but
technically 5. Yeah.
Yeah, technically 5. So the first is Genie from Aladdin. The other is Timon and Pumbaa as a combo from The Lion King. We have Mushu from Mulan and Donkey from Shrek. What do you guys feel?
I do think it's kind of cheating to put Timon and Pumbaa as their own separate thing. So for me personally, again, love The Lion King. I just feel like that's too much of a cheat for me to cross. It has to be one or the other. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I find Mushu to be like just the worst or a worse version of Donkey.
God.
Right. So like, if we're gonna take Eddie Murphy characters, Donkey 1,000% for me, and then it's just up against the Genie, which definitely iconic, one of Robin Williams' like most famous roles. I don't know. This is to be really honest, it's kind of a coin flip. I probably err towards Genie, with Donkey as my second.
Myself, I straight up hate like all of these characters. So
Oh whoa.
Like these characters, I understand that like part of it is supposed to be humorous by being annoying, but for me it just comes off as being annoying a lot of the time. I kind of end up breaking my own rule. Like at the beginning, I was saying I want a supporting character that contributes to, the actual character of our story. And the one that I'm going to vote on is the genie, which, in my opinion, kind of does that the least. Like he's more of just like a standalone, entertaining character that props up the movie just by his own, like just Robin Williams being Robin Williams.
Right.
But the other characters, even though they are better at supporting the main characters, I'm probably just going to have to go with the genie because it doesn't annoy me as much as the others.
Look, I mean, it's really just Robin Williams doing stand up, right?
That's exactly what it was. They just took a bunch of his audio recordings and made a character.
Yeah. Okay, I'm personally hurt by the attacks on Mushu. Mushu, I think is probably. I mean, I could care less about. Okay, no, that's a lie. I like Timon and Pumbaa. Mulan is probably one of my favorite Disney movies. For obvious reasons. And Mushu, like I just remember the hours of laughter as a child that I would get from watching this movie and just Eddie Murphy doing his thing as Mushu. And I think it still holds up. I don't care what you say, Carson. Mushu, I think is like Donkey is supposed to be annoying. Mushu is, I mean, a little bit annoying, sure, but I think he was still funny. It's the nostalgia that really drives this for me. I mean, Timon and Pumbaa also have a special place in my heart. Genie, I didn't really care for Aladdin too much growing up, and I think Donkey was a little he played annoying a little too well. And that's the only one where I feel like I was annoyed by the character, but I can't. There's no one I can pick aside from Mushu, and I don't think it matters because I believe you both picked Genie.
And that's good. I still like a lot of the music from Mulan, but to be honest, I have not rewatched that movie in probably 15 to 20 years. So it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah, I think Mulan holds up. I could do Mulan without Mushu though.
Mulan, I think. Oh my god! I just took in what you said. I guess I was trying to make another point, and I am even more upset now. But like, I can't even believe you, Carson. The whole reason why I don't like the live action Mulan, there aside from it, all the other problems with it is that there's no Mushu. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's how strongly I feel about Mushu.
They don't sing "Make a Man Out of You." That's the real problem.
Okay, you know what? Those are tied for the the biggest problems around Mulan.
I'll be honest, I forgot that there was a live action Mulan movie. So
I think most people did actually.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're going Genie with this one. Although I feel like I am reluctantly going along with a lot of these choices, so I'm going to have to decide to get passionate about something here. Probably not going to be this next category though. Second half of our comedic relief is C-3PO. There's also R2-D2. For some reason, we combined Timon and Pumbaa in the previous group, but we've split out C-3PO and R2-D2 into this category. We have Mona Lisa Vito from My Cousin Vinny and Cosmo Brown from Singing in the Rain. So that is quite a diverse group of characters there.
First off, just as a sidebar question for the two of you, of the two droids, who would you pick? Like, are you a C-3PO fan or an R2-D2 fan? Like, if you had to pick.
I'd go R2-D2 just because I hate C-3PO so much.
I was going to say, I don't know if does anyone like C-3PO, and I don't know if this is where you're going with this, Kyle.
No, I wasn't. I was going to say I'm totally team R2-D2.
Okay.
His little bleeps and bloops are always so funny to me.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm actually going to vote for the movie that I don't think either of you are going to go for. Have either of you seen My Cousin Vinny?
Yes.
A
I
long
watched
time
it in
ago.
high school during class.
It is so funny. It is one of my favorite performances by Marissa Tomei, who quite famously won an Oscar for that role. And for years, people had this conspiracy theory that someone read out the wrong name and they just gave it to her, which we have found out since then that that's not what happens if you read out the wrong name at the Oscars. I am of the opinion that she deserved 2 Oscars for that role. I think she is that good inside of it as just playing a ditzy, really, really funny character. So I'm picking Mona Lisa Vito for this one, even though I don't think I'm going to win this round.
I'm actually picking Mona Lisa Vito as well.
Yeah,
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree.
Like for all the reasons why we picked Chewbacca, I'm going against picking
Sure.
R2D2, like as iconic as he is. We get one. Star Wars gets one, not two. But also R2D2 is, I feel like he's more of a plot device than a character. As lovable as he is, he's super cool. Also, not to mention the fact like his existence doesn't make a whole lot of sense with the in terms of the prequels and
don't even get me started on the prequels. I get so angry. But this is kind of a hot take. I think you could still make Star Wars without the droids being there at all. You can, whereas I think Chewbacca is actually more of an essential supporting character through that original trilogy.
I think R2D2 in the original trilogy was a good contribution, especially Dagobah. Dagobah R2,
Sure.
I think that was kind of his peak, but the prequels and the sequels and every other character that's just propped him up way too much kind of ruins him. So I'm kind of factoring in like the entire catalog there and saying no to R2, which is why I'll get on board quite easily with Mona Lisa Vito.
Cool.
Wow. That's kind of a surprise, but
here's the big question then for the comedic relief. Robin Williams' Genie versus Marissa Tomei's Mona Lisa Vito.
Well, I didn't even like Genie to begin with, so
yeah,
you know where I'm going.
This might be, some people might be going to send in some letters here to you, but having, I'm going to say recently rewatched Aladdin. I think it was last year that I did a rewatch of it. I still liked it, but it is very dated. It is very dated in so many ways. And I'm a Robin Williams fan, but like, if I'm looking at the two performances, I'm going with Mona Lisa Vito, Marissa Tomei. I think she's a funnier character.
I mean, on that note, like to kind of get sidetracked a bit, but like a lot of Robin Williams's comedy probably wouldn't fly today. Like I remember just rewatching Good Morning Vietnam the other day. And I was like, I mean, this is good. It's funny, but I mean, it's a good thing Twitter hasn't found this movie yet.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, again, another little sidebar. I think it's going to be fascinating in that I think a lot of Robin Williams' dramatic turns are going to stand the test of time more so than his comedic turns, even though when I was growing up, he was far more well-known as a comedian than he was a dramatic actor.
100%. I mean, I remember burning CDs of his bits back in the day. But I mean, all that aside, I think it's an easy one for Mona Lisa Vito, just from my heart, from my high school heart.
I will agree because, as I said, I wasn't super passionate about the Genie or really this entire category, all 8 of these characters. So I will go with the flow on this one, and we will have Mona Lisa be the champion of this category.
Carson doesn't like fun, is what it comes down to.
That is a reoccurring theme of this podcast. All right, our next category, which I feel like I like just about every character in this, so I'm gonna actually be passionate about something here, is our BFF category. Maybe debatable whether some of these are BFFs or not, but our first 4 that we're looking at are Ron Weasley from Harry Potter, Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings, Waymond Wong from Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. I'll put my cards on the table and say right now, Samwise Gamgee 100% all the way.
I mean, it's tough to argue against that one. I think I love Waymond Wong just for everything he stands for, and even like past the character himself, just the movie and the man. But I mean, Samwise Gamgee pretty much saved Middle Earth single-handedly because Frodo was used.
Pretty much. He did.
I mean, sure, okay. Frodo took like all the evil of the ring. Sure, who cares? Sam carried him up the mountain.
On his back.
Yeah. I mean, that's an easy one for me.
I wish Waymond Wong was in another category because Waymond Wong is like a fantastic character.
I am such a fan of the actor James Hong. Anyways, I just love it when he shows up in movies. So Oh wait, sorry, am I getting it wrong?
Waymond is the
Is
husband.
this Ki Wai Kwan or is
Yeah.
this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remove that from the episode. But no, I love this. I love this being the reemergence of Ki Hoi Kwan into films. I'm just so glad that he's kind of back making movies again. I was for a time a huge Harry Potter fan, and that has very much been lessening as the years go by for a whole host of different reasons. One of the bigger reasons being how awful those Fantastic Beasts movies are. But
Oh yeah.
I have to go with Samwise Gamgee too. I mean, again, as a BFF category, he's like at the top of the list. And this is another rewatch I just recently did here at the beginning of the year. Rewatched the trilogy again, and I think it's actually kind of a crime that Sean Astin wasn't recognized more for his performance in that movie.
Yeah, you know what? I never thought about it like that. I mean, we all love those movies. I mean, most of us do. But yeah, no recognition for Sean Astin. And
No, for the record like 11 Oscar wins that Return of the King got, there was no acting wins for that movie.
That was kind of like Lord of the Rings was kind of rare at that time because you're now starting to see more movies get Best Picture that are kind of the less conventional. But at that time, like those movies did not get in the Oscar picture.
Right.
So even the fact that Lord of the Rings was winning that many, like I think everyone was surprised about. But it still doesn't surprise me that the actors didn't get the full credit at the time because they weren't seen as Oscar type performances. Even though yes, fantastic performance. But I think yes, everyone gives Waymond Wong a solid number 2 on this one and wish he could go on further. Second half of this category is going to be Bubba from Forrest Gump, Cal Naughton Jr. from Talladega Nights, Cameron Fry from Bueller's Day Off, and Garth from Wayne's World. Personally, I think Cal Naughton Jr. is a very underrated character, and that entire movie is extremely underrated. So even though there's some heavy hitters in this category, I'm going to place my cards for Cal Naughton Jr.
Oh, I love that. That's so fun. I have to give that a rewatch. There's been a few people now that have told me that I should go back to it because it holds up in many ways. So this might be another hot take, although not so much online anymore, but I don't hate, but I've also never loved Forrest Gump all that much. So I'm probably not going to throw my full weight behind that character. I do love Ferris Bueller's Day Off though quite a bit. But I don't know. I'm caught between two choices here because again, if I'm just looking at the category of BFF here, and Garth definitely I think fulfills that category pretty well. But it's been so long since I've seen those movies. I think my nostalgia goes back to seeing the original skits on Saturday Night Live more than the movies themselves. So I'm going to go with Cameron Fry. I'm going to go with Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh man, this is tough. This is probably the category that, I mean, they're all good characters. I like all of them, but I don't particularly like any one of them more than the others.
Right.
And I mean, it is between like the two that you've picked. I don't want to have this power.
I don't. You must wield it.
Yeah. God, I wish Sam Wise could help me out here. Yeah, I'm not going to argue for Bubba or Garth. Garth, I kind of found Garth to be kind of annoying, to be honest. I mean, Bubba is an icon, but I mean, it's fine. I probably did enjoy Talladega Nights more than anything. And I like Cal, but like as a BFF, he kind of stole Ricky Bobby's family for a little while.
It's not the category for who's the best BFF. It's the best sidekick in a category of BFFs.
I know, but I mean, even as a sidekick, that's not a great.
Do you remember the slingshot move? Do you remember how he got to do the slingshot, the reverse at the end?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are good points. I mean, Cameron Fry, oh man,
Garth would have
I
been my
can't.
number 2 on this one. I actually quite like Wayne's World.
That just brings me closer to Cameron Fry, I guess. I don't know. I need one. Give me one reason for either one.
Between Cal Naughton and Cameron Fry.
Yeah.
Cameron Fry destroys a car at the end, so that's pretty badass. Although I don't know how that solves his problems with his father. If you really look at the the arc of that movie, that's probably going to not be the greatest thing when his father comes home.
Yeah, I don't know how to
And
fight
he
for.
doesn't steal his best friend's girlfriend, so maybe slash wife. So maybe that's a point
and
in
children.
He gives them back at the end, I think. I can't remember.
Like possessions, yes.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to fight for Cal Naughton too much. I'll just say like that movie was more dramatic than it ever should have been. Not to say that it's really that dramatic because it's still a pretty goofy movie, but just like all the shake and bake stuff and the slingshot and him being like him actually having a character arc from being just the guy who totally supports Ricky Bobby to the guy who ends up being like the better friend and has a little mini arc of his own and having confidence throughout the movie. That's all I'll throw in.
Okay. I think I've made up my mind. Even though Cameron Fry probably gave me the bigger laugh between the two movies, and in Talladega Nights, I had more, but not necessarily the biggest. And with the full knowledge that this person is going to lose to Samwise Gamgee anyway, I'm gonna pick Cal Naughton Jr.
I'm going to throw you into a microwave.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't need to argue too much about this because we're all agreed that Samwise wins this category, right? Okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. And now,
Oh, you're just going for full ahead with it.
yeah, I mean, do you want to argue for Cal Naughton
No, it's
beating?
fine.
No one's gonna. I'm not gonna even make that argument.
No.
So, all right. And this last bucket is gonna be maybe some interesting conversations because we fit a lot of other type characters in here. So first of 4 characters, we have Tuco from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I think he's the infamous ugly character. Sonny Corleone from The Godfather, Tyler Durden from Fight Club, and Morpheus from The Matrix. I'll say my initial thoughts is there's a big difference between characters I liked versus good at being supporting characters in this group. Because I really like Morpheus and I really like Tyler Durden. Are they supporting characters or not? I think you can make an argument that it's like they're almost like their own standalone characters.
Co-leads in some cases, yeah.
And Tuco's a fantastic supporting character, but he's much more kind of on the edge than some of these other characters are.
Yeah, this is like a category of heavy hitters like these 4 here. Actually, that's a really good point that you just bring up here as far as like I honestly would consider Tyler Durden the co-lead of the movie. Like I don't actually even consider him like the supporting character.
Yeah.
So he might get disqualified just on a technicality in that case. Love Tuco. Morpheus is iconic. Sonny Corleone gets a spoiler alert, gets riddled with bullets at the end. So that's a cool iconic scene. For me, it's down to Tuco and Morpheus personally, just as like good supporting characters go. And as The Matrix is, again, one of my favorite movies of all time, I'm probably going to lean more towards Morpheus for this category.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Morpheus. Actually, not even leaning. I'm just fully throwing my head into it for Morpheus.
Yeah.
He's, I mean, the only non the one character who actually killed an agent. So, I mean, that's got to count for something. Actually, wait, no, I think Trinity killed one at the end. She got one under the buzzer.
Yeah, I think I was similarly between Tuco and Morpheus, and I think I like Morpheus more as a character. It was more that question of whether he's a good supporting character, and I think you can justify him just enough as like supporting Neo's character. that I can say like, okay, he does count as a supporting character, and it's a pretty awesome performance. So I'm gonna go Morpheus as well.
I think he's like the easily like a just the epitome of a supporting character, like just a really good one though. I mean, he's not the story does not center around him in any way. He's completely in support of like just the function of his role is in support of the main character who's Neo. I mean, that's I think that's a pretty cut and dry for me.
Cool. And then in our second of this other category, we have Doc Brown from Back to the Future, Dr. King Schultz from Django Unchained, Thing from the Addams Family, and Klaus from The Life Aquatic. Which is a very random group of characters here.
Very random. Yeah. No rhyme or reason really at all.
So I have absolutely zero connection to any of the other movies aside from Django Unchained. So maybe unpopular opinion. I'm picking Dr. King Schultz. Weirdly enough, I've never seen Back to the Future, any of them.
Oh, you're killing me here.
Yeah. A strange statement for someone who has a movie podcast. Carson and I have had this argument before. I'm not a huge fan of not just The Life Aquatic, but that whole genre of movie. Sure. So I
mean, I do like Life Aquatic. I'm not going to pick Klaus, but I like Life Aquatic. The weird thing is that the Addams Family, if we're just talking about the movies without getting into all the other media that they've been a part of, Addams Family Values, the second one, I think is like way better than what the original movie is. It's one of those rare sequels I think is like supremely better than the original. But I don't know. I've never been a fan of Thing in those movies. It is what it is. They use them sparingly, so it's not like it takes over the movie. Okay. Time for another Kyle hot take here. I like Quentin Tarantino. There is only one film that he's made that I actually outright hate, and it's Django Unchained. I really hate that movie a lot.
Reasoning?
Reasoning, I think you can tell. So his very long-time editor died right after Inglourious Basterds and before Django Unchained, and I think you can tell. I think that movie is not only badly edited, but just is in such a need of like 10, 15 minutes just taken out of that movie completely. Like his previous one just understood how his writing worked and how to cut to his writing beats. And I don't think that's ever been come back again. And I don't know. The performances I wasn't even that impressed with, except for like the one scene with Leonardo DiCaprio when they're at the plantation and stuff. Like that's iconic for a reason. But otherwise, I just was not into that movie whatsoever. And this is from a guy who will go to bat for Jackie Brown, which I think is one of his best. And most people don't agree with me. But so that being said, I have to go with Doc Brown only because Back to the Future is like in my personal top 10. Like I like it that much.
Fair. I mean, I can't. It's hard for me to argue for Doc Brown, who I've only seen in
Rick and Morty is basically how most people know him now.
Yeah, for me, I was just happy to get Klaus on the board here. That was my contribution to our list, and I don't think I'll even vote him through this round. I just wanted to get in the conversation. Django Unchained, I'm probably right in between you guys. Like, I don't hate it, I don't love it. Like, I think that was right after his performance in Inglourious Basterds, right? And so it kind of, a lot of people were, he was like the hottest shit in the world at that point. Like everyone loved his characters. I thought it was okay. I've seen Back to the Future. I don't love Back to the Future. I think it's a little like, and maybe that's just like I missed the timing on it, but I just feel like it has so much iconic stuff on it for a movie that for me is just kind of like it's okay. And like I think I get annoyed by things getting too much credit. That said, I'm gonna have to go with Doc Brown on this one just because like I'm not
Oh,
super passionate about Dr. King Schultz. And it's okay. Dr. King Schultz has been in many of our podcasts before. I think he was on our hockey draft or one of those drafts that we did.
was he?
Yeah, I remember he was
I
like a picking what position he was going to be for defense or something.
I will say this: had it been his Inglorious Bastards character,
Oh,
then I would have picked him.
I mean that's fair. I think that goes without saying. I mean, I think we're not giving Dr. King Schultz enough credit as a character even. Like he had like I would compare him to like a Morpheus. Obviously not as good,
Mm.
but he plays the same role. I think he played it really well, and he has like his own arc separate from Django.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of falls into the trap of he could almost be like the main character. But I don't, just disappointed.
Just disappointed.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
All right, so presumably in this conversation of Morpheus versus Doc Brown, you'll end up going Morpheus.
Oh, me, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to go Morpheus too, to be honest with you. As far as like the two characters go, I think Morpheus is the stronger character overall.
I guess it makes me feel better that King Schultz would have lost to Morpheus as well anyway.
Would you have voted Morpheus over King Schultz?
Sorry?
Would you have voted Morpheus over King Schultz?
Oh yeah. No, sorry,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. Like
Okay.
regardless, Morpheus would have won.
So this brings us to a rather odd-looking final four of Chewbacca, Samwise Gamgee, Morpheus, and Mona Lisa Vito in there.
I think one side is unsurprising. The other
The-
side is a little
I mean, honestly, the four most iconic characters in cinema.
All right. Well, let's do the top two first. So Chewbacca versus Samwise Gamgee. I have expressed my displeasure with Chewbacca previously, and I've expressed my love for Samwise, so I'm going to have the obvious vote for Samwise here.
Oh, I thought we were going the other way. I thought it was going to be Chewbacca against Mona Lisa Vito.
I think it was supposed to be, and then I put the colors this certain way on this sheet that I'm looking at. So yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I'm also going to vote for Samwise. Samwise is going to be tough to beat. I'm gonna be honest here.
Yeah, I mean, I have to go with Samwise too. Again, just looking at characters and arcs and stuff throughout the movies, Chewbacca is fun. He's great. He's iconic, but like Samwise is Samwise, man. Like he holds that film on his back, just like Frodo.
I'm gonna save all the negative comments I have about Samwise, of which there are kind of few, but I'll save them for the finals.
Too hairy of feet. Let's just put it out there.
It's too bad no one else got
That's
on
on the
board with
list.
John Watson. I was willing to like argue John Watson versus Samwise at this point, but yeah, different group of
Whoa.
people for that. And that brings us to the other half of the bracket, which is Mona Lisa Vito versus Morpheus. Does the Cinderella story continue?
I mean, just because I want to be a little bit contrarian here. I'm gonna go with that Cinderella story. I'm gonna vote for Mona Lisa here in this case. I think her final speech at the end, which I wish I could do off the top of my head because I think it's so great. But I think I'm gonna be outvoted anyways. So I'm gonna go for Mona Lisa. That's who I'm gonna vote for. I'm gonna vote my heart.
In the earlier versions of our podcast, we would have people we would have a break in the middle section where we'd have people like reenact their favorite scenes. So that would have been a good moment for that.
Perfect time.
And Paolo, what are your thoughts?
Oh, if Kyle didn't do that, I would have done it.
You wanted to be the single vote, but not actually have her go ahead, didn't you?
Right.
Right now I'm questioning if I'm okay with her going ahead because now that's a possibility.
I'll just lay it out there that I'm voting Morpheus. Maybe if I watch it more recently, like I haven't watched My Cousin Vinny in, again, probably 15, 20 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
I have more passion behind voting for Morpheus and more enjoyment
Sure.
of that character that I'll place my vote there. Nothing against Mona Lisa Vito, just, yeah. So it's up to Paolo.
Not again.
All you need to do is you need to make a choice between one of the most dynamic, interesting, iconic characters of all time, and Morpheus.
Not to mention my grade 11 law class schoolboy crush.
Oh, is it really? Oh, that's so funny.
That's when I watched the movie. It was in our law class.
Marissa Tomei, by the way, not to reduce everything to looks, is still looking like a great
oh yeah
woman in her 50s.
100%. And of course, not taking away from the character, still a great character. Why am I thinking so hard about this?
With your gut.
It's so much more fun to vote for Mona Lisa. Should I? It makes a lot more sense to pick Morpheus. Oh, I should have voted first. Oh man.
I can't help you out at all with this one.
I know. Can we talk about something else for a little while?
While we were talking about this, what is the one character that you feel like we just completely forgot to talk about this entire thing?
Like that's included, but we didn't talk about, or
no, that we didn't even include. Like we mentioned Ocean's 11. I was like, how did we not have any Ocean's 11 character on here on one of the best like ensemble? Like, I guess it's because there's no single character that jumps out in Ocean's 11. Like, there's so many good ones like that add up.
That's true. I think slightly surprising is that there is, just because there's such a big cultural touch point, that there's not a single Marvel character in this bracket.
I think Carson did that on purpose.
I put in the characters that you guys contributed. I only influenced like Klaus and a few others.
It's true.
If there was going to be one MCU character that you feel like tops the list, what would you put in?
Well, okay, so it has to be supporting character.
Probably like Rocket would be up there.
Yeah,
I was going to mention Drax or Rocket.
Yeah, Rocket I would have probably pushed for maybe more fervently, especially because I feel like I'll just say this. I was like really positive on the latest Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and that was a movie I thought I was going to not like at all. So maybe I just had very low expectations going in, but I thought they did such a great job with that character throughout.
Yeah, I can't think of any others actually, because there's not really any aside from maybe Rhodey.
I was gonna say Rhodey just because he's a good supporting character.
Yeah,
like you could say, Bucky / the Winter Soldier, but
Loki's more of a villain, but depending on this show,
yeah, that's where it gets hard.
But
yeah, there's too many. That's the problem with
maybe that's it.
There's too many, and some of them be like our main characters, but then in other characters' movies, they're a side character.
Mm-hmm. The other one, I guess, I would say that I'm surprised with a little bit. I guess my head was not in the right space here, but as a big fan of the James Bond franchise, like Q or Moneypenny or M or any of those like classic like supporting characters that show up in almost every single film.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point you have to start deciding like which version of the character, because they've been played by so many different people. I'm surprised Han Solo didn't make the list here. Like Han Solo's kind of a supporting character.
Yes.
I guess that verges on like just potentially being a main character himself, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, or we could combine him with Chewbacca, and that would be just a powerhouse.
Yeah.
They are the galaxy's power couple, so.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm done wasting time. I cannot go with my heart all the time. I'm gonna pick Morpheus.
Oh, the fairy tale comes to a close.
I mean, it's an honorable showing from Mona Lisa Vito. It was already an upset for beating R2-D2.
That's right.
Even though we were all in agreement for it.
She trashed R2-D2. She put the genie back in the bottle, but she could not pick the right pill for Morpheus.
And we didn't even mention Cosmo Brown because of her.
I know.
That's true.
That leads us to our final battle of Samwise Gamgee versus Morpheus. I've been very supportive of Sam. I am curious. You said you had some negative thoughts on Samwise, Paulo. So what what do you got for the contradiction here? Because I feel like Samwise is kind of the favorite here.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say about Samwise and Frodo, like their whole storyline, is probably the most fast-forwarded parts of the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't know if maybe I'm out to lunch here, but um, they were their little thing was my least favorite part of those movies. I mean, obviously it was the most important part in a way because that's the whole reason of the story for them to get to Mount Doom. um it was a kind of repetitive, their story, just like, oh, I can't do this anymore. No, you have to. I'm here with you. I'm your best friend. I love you. I'll help you do this. And then, Gollum doing his thing.
You're just shouting kiss already, right?
um but I mean, that's mostly it. Oh,
I
and
think that's the kind of the interesting thing is that Morpheus, just again by sake of how he's written and how those movies are constructed, always kind of gets to be cool, even if he's being bested. He's so like a cool character. Where I can understand some of the criticisms for both Frodo and Sam. It's like, boy, by that third hour of Return of the King, they're getting kind of whiny a little bit, aren't they?
yeah. But see that, yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's just like, oh god, I've had enough of this like best friend drama with this little gremlin getting in between you guys.
Maybe Schmeagol should eat you. Maybe that would.
I don't know. I kind of
um,
disagree. Like Return of the King is, in my opinion, where that kind of takes over in the franchise. Like Two Towers, it's like they're just walking around. There's not a whole lot going around.
Yeah.
But like Return of the King, that's where, Samwise gets to raid the Orc Tower and turn into a badass.
Hmm.
That's also where he's been told to go home and he has that little sad moment of like defeat and then like realizing he was wrong and turning back. And it's like he has a lot of kind of like more nuanced character drama in that last movie. Whereas like, yeah, the first two, he's kind of just like, I'm your best friend and I'm gonna follow along type thing.
Mr. Frodo.
I,
Yeah.
I I guess
Here's my
the
another small digression, but I'm always so fascinated by people's answers. So of the trilogy, I'm only talking about theatrical and not the extended versions. But of the three, what is your favorite? Just as a
Fellowship.
movie to watch.
Easy. Like, so we talked about this recently when we were talking about Dune, because one of my
Mhm.
biggest issues with Dune is it's not a complete movie, which, the
Me
counter
too.
argument to that would be, you know, there's all these movies that are, Lord of the Rings is three, movies as a larger story,
Hmm.
but Fellowship of the Ring works as its own movie. Like, even though there's still more story that goes at the end, there's a lot of character arcs and a lot of character dramas that kind of come to a conclusion, and it works as a single movie that also works as a thing launching into a larger story.
Hmm.
That almost kind of
Yeah,
ruins
I mean,
other
that's
movies for me
that's
that don't do that well.
I think that's such a great point because this year, like in the year 2023, there's at least three films I know of that are like part one.
Mm.
And of the two that I've seen, which is the Fast 10 and the new Spider-Verse movie, um, both of them feel like, okay, well, we've gotten to the midpoint and now you're just wrapping it up. Unlike Fellowship, I'll also throw in like Empire Strikes Back into that conversation, which technically does end on a cliffhanger, but still feels like it has wrapped up all the storylines it's set up
Yeah.
in that movie. It doesn't feel like it's telling half of a story, which I also felt for Dune. It's like I like this movie, but it's half a movie. Like I haven't seen what the full movie is yet, so it's really hard to evaluate. Um, which is why I always blow people's minds when I say that just as a thing to throw on and watch. I actually really love the Two Towers, which is not that at all. It's literally like the middle point of the two beginning and end pieces.
that was actually going to be my choice as well. I mean, I'm less concerned with. I mean, sure, I recognize that sometimes it's frustrating when the movie that you're watching does not end, or technically does not end.
Hmm.
But the Two Towers, I think, just because of I've always liked just watching uh, everything around Rohan,
I like the
especially
Helm's
versus
Deep battle. I think that's just the big thing for me. I just love that whole
100%.
sequence.
Yeah. That I think it's also more because in the Return of the King, there's about an
Mhm.
hour of it wrapping up that I feel like I didn't really need.
I've always felt the same way too, and I always hate saying that. Is like it's kind of my least favorite. Not that I think it's bad again,
Mhm.
but it's like yeah, it's a full hour of wrap up stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like okay, like
Which is
great,
still
but
even shorter than what the books have for a wrap up. Like
I
it's a
know,
condensed
True.
wrap up.
I know.
Yeah. But also in like the Two Towers, like some of the moments in there, just like the whole, like the swell when they're about to just ride out to
Mhm.
potential death, and it's just so like uplifting and kind of badass. That
Mhm.
like of the three movies, I think that was the biggest uplift. Not I don't know about uplifting, but those kind of moments,
It's rousing, right? Yeah,
Yeah, rousing. Thank you.
yeah.
English.
This is I say all this, and I'm actually very excited for the second Dune movie to come out because I think hopefully it'll wrap up everything in a nice compact way, and then I can watch both of them at the same time.
I'm
Yeah.
curious as to if they actually end it at the end of the book, because the
Well, this
second
is
book is so
yeah,
much more interesting that it's like you could just keep it going if you wanted to.
yeah. That's the eternal question. Like, if it does well, of course they'll make another sequel to it. But like, how? I mean, granted, I've only ever read the original Dune. I've actually not read any of the sequels to it. But having read synopses of them, it's like it gets to such a crazy place. It's like our general audience is going to be able to go along with
Mhm.
just how crazy those books get.
Having not read the books, I'm just along for the ride.
Mhm.
um, but yeah, how did we get here?
We were
This is all
talking
to
about,
say,
yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
the detractions of Samwise
Oh,
Gamgee versus
right.
Morpheus.
Yeah, and you know what? Even adding to our love of our shared love of the Two Towers, I think the saga between Frodo and Sam was probably like the least amount of that movie.
Yeah.
Um, but the
I
question
guess as
is
the
now,
flip side of this is like, okay, so we're looking at Samwise as being in all three films. There's been 4 Matrix movies that have been made. So, what are our feelings on that series?
Uh, Paolo loves the most recent Matrix. I'm just gonna try to ignore that movie because Morpheus is technically a different character in that he's like a
Yeah,
version of
it's
Morpheus,
weird.
so I can justify ignoring that movie. I am a, I don't know what you call it, but I actually like Matrix 2 and 3. I think that's a fantastic trilogy that has some unfortunately odd and weird special effects for the time. But
Mm.
as a larger story of what, the story they're trying to tell around Neo is much more is a pretty interesting story. Morpheus does take a backseat for Matrix 2 and 3. Like his best part is obviously in the first Matrix movie, although he's still like kind of there.
Hmm.
But people will bring up Matrix 2 and 3 as reasons to not like these characters, and for me, they're fantastic movies. Not maybe
Yeah,
not
I
fantastic,
feel
but
like I
good.
have a yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know how um counter of an opinion this is to most. Like again, first Matrix, one of my all-time favorite movies of all time. Blew my mind when I saw it in the theaters or when it originally came out. I am a big fan of the direct sequel. I think that's a great action film. I do feel a little bit let down with the third for a whole host of different reasons. Some characters I feel start acting almost like weirdly based on how they've been acting up until that point. Um, the fourth one is the interesting one. I'd actually like to hear, Paolo, what your defense is, because um, what that movie did for me is that intellectually I felt I understood what it was trying to communicate, and then reading up interviews and behind the scenes and stuff, intellectually it's like that's a really cool idea. But
Mhm.
watching the movie, I don't know if I fully got to that point.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of why they were making it and how they made it. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I get that. And I read some of that stuff too, that like after I watched the
Yeah.
movie and I had made my mind up that I enjoyed it. And it added a little bit to it. That being said, it still didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think we're on the same page there. I still don't understand everything about Morpheus in the fourth
Hmm.
one. Um, that being said, I think it's mostly novelty. Just of it, I found it parts of it to just be hilarious, some of it unintentionally hilarious. Um,
Yes.
So I think I enjoyed it as an experience more than like the movie itself and what it was trying to do, which I still understand
Mhm.
to a certain extent. Just certain things like the Merovingian showing up again as like a raving lunatic, like a raving
Yeah.
homeless lunatic, and like them fighting the cast of Stomp while he's just yelling at them. That was
Yeah.
like
Right.
I was howling, and also the he plays the King of England in Hamilton. I forget his name.
Yeah.
Jonathan Groff.
Yes. Jonathan Groff.
Yes, him switching from Neo's boss to like a stand-in for Agent Smith was really I don't know why it was so funny for me when it was like raining in their office because the fire alarm
Mhm.
had gone off, and then he just out of nowhere he goes from what's going on in here to Mr. Anderson, and he just goes full Agent Smith out of
Yeah.
nowhere. I think yeah, there's like stuff like that, like weird choices. I think just really made me enjoy it. So
Yeah. I'm a
um,
big fan of Jonathan Groff, by the way. But yeah,
yeah,
it's that movie is messy, and I kind of like messy movies in a way because, like, hey, you're trying something, and I
yeah,
kind of respect that.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a recurring theme for me and Carson. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's out there that Carson I don't think will ever understand why I like it, no matter how
Like
much I try and
Wonder
explain
Woman
it. This is
84
one of them.
being a good
Yeah.
example.
Okay, well, I won't get onto that bandwagon, but
That one I'll die on that hill as well. I don't
mhm.
I'm just I don't care.
You and the 5 other people that are on that hill.
You can't tell me that Wonder Woman solving all the conflict in the world by telling them like be good people
Yeah.
is not hilarious. Um anyways, sorry. I'm way off track now.
And that is why we're crowning Wonder Woman as our best supporting character.
um
I
yeah, I
think
mean, I
honestly,
guess
after this discussion, I'm gonna vote Morpheus, to be honest with you.
I'm leaning a little bit more towards Morpheus than I was at the beginning of the conversation. Like, yeah, it's a good point that for me, I think it's the opposite of you. That like I actually really like the Return of the King, but even just like
Mhm.
remembering what they were like in Two Towers, it's like yeah, it takes a long time for that story to pick up. But then Morpheus is also kind of the opposite. That he does. I just can't remember as much about what he was doing in two and three. But I remember at like the end, he's not. Actually, now I remember the speech he gave in two, and that's a good
Yeah,
moment.
he's dancing at that underground
yeah.
rave.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does a lot more cool stuff, that's for sure. But he also goes through like his whole existential crisis when he finds out Neo apparently isn't the one, and he has like his whole like rut. Um, and then he quickly follows that up with murdering an agent with a samurai sword.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna be okay with picking Morpheus just on pure cool factor.
Love it.
I'm gonna get on board with the Morpheus train. So
Yeah.
in a decision that I didn't think I'd be going with at the end, I'm also gonna go Morpheus and Samwise Gamgee. Sorry, you're getting silver medal on this one.
I
It
mean, that's honorable.
Spartan kicked into Mountain Doom, unfortunately.
All right, well, Morpheus crowned the best sidekick in cinematic history. Thank you
I
all
feel
for
good about
participating
this.
in this challenge. We are going to end off our episodes as we usually do, if we've remembered to do it, by talking about one movie that's coming out in the coming days, weeks, months-ish that we're looking forward to coming out with. What are you guys looking forward to soon?
So, what I am the most looking forward to is the head-to-head battle that is happening on July 21st of this summer. I could not be more excited by the fact that Oppenheimer and Barbie are opening up on the same exact day, and I will be watching both of them. And I'm going to be so interested to see, just box office wise, ticket sales wise, where that goes. I feel like I'm in a bubble where Barbie seems to have a lot more energy behind it, but we'll see actually on the actual day on whether that is true or not. I'm excited for both of them. I just want to be very clear. I'm like really excited for both of those films.
I'm curious about Barbie. I don't know if I'm going to end up liking it. I don't know if I want to go see it in theaters, but as someone who
Hmm.
really enjoyed the Lego movie,
Hmm.
as like the ability to capture the spirit of something and tell its own story, and I think there's a lot of trust that goes into Greta Gerwig that says like, okay, her being the one to tackle it, I'll give a little bit more credibility to than I probably would have.
That that is literally like 95% of the reason I'm excited for it is I've been such a huge fan of Greta Gerwig's other films. And I think the Lego movie comparison is the best one, right? It's like talk about a movie where I was like, Lego movie, come on. Like I was so like thumbs down on this film, and then I was drugged to it. I'm like, this is actually kind of great.
Yeah.
This is really fun.
Yeah, and again, a lot of that on the strength of Phil Lord and Chris Miller, so like a
Right.
good filmmaker that taking it over. I also am a bit wary because I've tried to like predict what movies I think are really going to be good, and good filmmakers coming into their third and fourth movie, it seems like there's a big cliff that they can fall off sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
I just watched Beau is Afraid, which I think is Ari Aster's third. I would describe that
So
as maybe
bad.
falling off a cliff.
Oh, well, here's my opinion on Beau is Afraid. Not that anyone really asked, but I actually truly do think the first 40, I may even say up to 50 minutes, I was kind of on board with. I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of great. And then it goes off such a cliff for me where I'm like, okay, can we end this? I was really disappointed in that movie.
I was mostly on board. I'm a huge fan of Charlie Kaufman, and just
Yeah, for
having him
sure.
see something like he does that same type of thing, but is able to wrap it in a bow at the end, where I feel like
Yeah.
Beau is Afraid did not have a bow.
Yeah.
Um,
Ha.
but just
Ha.
to kind of bring the conversation full circle, thing I'm looking forward to is the one of the two that you're looking forward to, which is Oppenheimer. I heard it described today as a horror movie, which makes me all the more interested in it
Yeah.
because to see, like, the only thing that I'm worried about is it becomes like too historic, too much just like, hey, here's the events that happened. But Christopher Nolan, obviously a fantastic director, and I'm hoping he has like it being a horror movie or it being just something a little more stylish, just kind of pushes it over the edge for me as like something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. It looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also looking forward to those, but I can't pick them obviously because you both did. So I'm going with the last voyage of the Demeter.
Oh, I'm so glad you're bringing this up. Keep going.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it's just Dracula on a
Yeah.
boat, like an
Do you
old timey
know
boat.
why they're not why they're making this movie, but like
I
oh,
don't know. I
sorry.
have no idea about anything about
Okay.
this movie.
So in the original novel Dracula, which is a great book and everyone should read it, but in the original novel Dracula, there's like I forget like a small sentence or a couple sentence passage about the ship called the Demeter, which arrived in port with all of the crew killed. So it's just a little line from the novel Dracula that they're now making into an entire film. So this is actually based
Mhm.
from the original source material, which is what makes me very excited about it.
Okay, there's a bit of the English expertise coming out. The
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I was just completely sold on kind of the like we're trapped on a boat and there's a monster here, kind of like that kind of thing. And Polka Dot Man is in it.
That's
David
right.
Dast. I cannot pronounce his last name, but yeah.
Uh, the other person I think to keep an eye on is the actor Corey Hawkins, who's in this movie, who will also be in the uh, adaptation of The Color Purple that's coming out this year as well, based on the musical The Color Purple. Uh, I think he's going to be a big star by the end of this year, personally, just with these two projects. That's my prediction, my bold prediction I'm putting out there.
Oh, Corey Hawkins.
Yeah.
I know him. He was in the
He was
remake
in
of 24.
Yeah, and he was in Black Klansman in a very small
Yes.
role. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I remember hearing about that movie and thinking it was going to be like the worst thing ever, and then I think the trailer had come out, and by the time I got to the end, I was like, oh, this might actually be like a real movie.
Yeah, right. The thing is more exciting to me, like this BS movie, and I'm like, oh, I'm actually kind of sold on this. This might be fun.
We recently did an episode on Asylum movies, like the Asylum Studios, and I think
Yep.
I had those kind of like Dracula vampire ripoff movies in my head when I started seeing it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what I was expecting. So obviously, easy to
I mean,
surprise that.
That's the thing. Like horror has a history of that. I'm because of another podcast I listen to. They're going through every horror film ever made in chronological order. So we're like just entering the 1960s on their podcast, and the 50s especially has so many like just low budget, like no production value, just terrible monster films. Like, oh, let's have a vampire in it, I guess. And it's like sometimes you see those even made today. It's like, well, we have $5. Let's make this horror movie, and I guess it'll work. And most of the time, it doesn't for me.
This is going on a bit of a tangent, but just knowing that you're talking about the history of horror movies, are you upset at what the potential of what the Dark Universe could have been versus the failure that it was?
Here's the thing. I think the idea of the Dark Universe is cool. I actually do think that's a cool idea to have something that the Universal films back again in the 30s and 40s kind of did. They just did not care about continuity at all. So that was the difference. But it's like, yeah, let's have Dracula show up in this Frankenstein movie, and then have the Wolfman show up. So like that the idea of the Dark Universe, of having all of this IP from Universal and their history crossing over, is kind of cool. My pet peeve, and this is kind of comes full circle to the Sherlock Holmes complaint that I had from before, is that they didn't make them horror films. Like The Mummy was not a horror film; it was an action film. It's like, but that's not what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be a horror franchise, and that's what kind of frustrated me. Which has basically failed, and then they abandoned that concept completely.
I think it would have killed if they tried doing it in like the 90s. Before they had like the Marvel universes and like the DC universe, and it was just like, it was the first one, and they were like making it, I don't know, just doing their own thing, maybe a little more horror oriented as well.
Yeah.
But that would have been like such an amazing idea back then. Unfortunately, it's just mishandled now.
Right.
I had heard somewhere that they were gonna try an attempt at it after the Invisible Man movie ended up being good, and I was hoping that they were gonna get back, because like that style, these kind of mythical creatures, but kind of done up with, I don't want to say technology, because you want to explore like the horror and the mythology and all that, but like I 100% would have been on board with the Dark Universe in the style of what that movie was.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's a good comparison, right? It's like, don't worry so much about the shared universe at first. Worry about making the movie good, and then, okay, how do we now cross this over? I thought that was such a great idea of making the Invisible Man movie basically being about the horror of domestic abuse. It's not a fun topic to talk about. It's like, oh, that's a really cool concept. It's like a theme to explore. So yeah, more stuff like that.
Agreed.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, thanks for joining us. This has been a really fun conversation. I'll lead off with a teaser on one of our next or upcoming episodes. We were talking about Oppenheimer. We are going to be doing a review on Oppenheimer, as well as talking about our top 10 or 11-ish Christopher Nolan movies. So we'll be talking about his filmography. And yeah, thanks for joining us. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and check out Kyle and Dave versus the Machine if you haven't already and you're listening right now and you've made it this far. We'll put the information in our Instagram post when we post it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and check out our next episode soon.